Hey guys, so today I'm going to be tier ranking all of my books I read in 2024 and just going over like all of my year in books. Setup's a little different. I'm using my husband's like streaming setup just because this was the only way I could think to get the like screen recording of the tier ranking. 2024 was a pretty good year for me. My goal was what was my goal? I think my goal was 80 books and I did 87. So hopefully 2025 we can do, I'm thinking maybe 100, but that might be pushing it, but we can get started. Okay, first I'm going to go over my tiers and what they all mean. I've got starting at the bottom, Wipe My Memory. This one is pretty much just I don't really need this book in my brain. I should have maybe DNF'd it. I don't really care for it. Forgot I Read is basically just like I might have read it earlier in the year, or I read it and at the time I was having a good time, but I just completely forgot about it, or I don't remember it until I see it or it's brought up. Next, Overhyped. These are books that I think that they were talked about a lot, or they were like really recommended and I was really excited to read them, and then when I read them they weren't as captivating as I thought they were going to be. But they're still good books, mainly like 3-star books. Liked but didn't love. These ones are more going to be like my 4 stars. Definitely are going to be like, you know, really enjoyed the book. It's not my favorite book of all time, but I would highly recommend it. And I do remember everything that happened and was having a good time reading it. And then the highest tier, didn't want it to end. These are my 5-star reads, maybe even 6-star reads, books that I will probably not stop talking about and I think about a lot and really love. First off, we got Pride and Prejudice. This one I would put in liked but didn't love. It's a classic, was easy to read. I actually enjoyed my time reading it, but also there is a lot more books that I enjoy reading now, especially like some of the wording I just didn't really understand. But it did make me feel good about myself because it made me think like, oh, I can actually understand these books and I don't feel stupid. Next, Janet Evanovich, Four to Score. All of these Janet Evanovich books here are actually going to go in Forgot I Read. I read these books, well, I listened to these books on audiobook when I was reading. I listened to these books on audiobook when I was working. They were really easy to get a hold of, for one, because no one was really borrowing them, and also they're just kind of light, easy reads to just listen to. You don't really have to be paying attention. My mom really loves this series, but I think it's more for like my mom's age. Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is a nonfiction finance book. I read this with my husband. I would probably put it overhyped. It's a good book, would recommend, but it's not like obviously just a fiction little happy romance, you know what I mean? The Duke and I. This is part of the Bridgerton series. I would put like but didn't love. I really want to finish the rest of the series, and I did like the writing. It was pretty easy, fast paced. But I really just want to get into it because of Bridgerton, and I want to finish that series because I can then read the books, watch the show, and go back and forth. The Blue Bistro by Ellen Hildebrand. Read a lot of her books this year. I read a lot of her books this year. And some of them kind of get like jumbled together, and sometimes it's hard to separate the different storylines. I do remember The Blue Bistro though. I remember really enjoying it, so I'm gonna put that in liked but didn't love. This one was also one of her like earlier books, like when she first started writing, and you can tell she's definitely gotten better and more advanced. City of Bones. This is a part of the Cassandra Clare Mortal Instruments series, and I would probably put this in overhyped only because there is one theme in this book that I just don't think added to the plot of the story, and I'm pretty sure most people know what it is. I don't want to spoil just in case, but I it was hard sometimes to look past it. But as a whole, I do like the series and I do like Cassandra Clare's writing. I've read a lot of her other series and really enjoyed them, and I will continue. We got Nantucket Nights. This one is probably overhyped just because it was probably like a 3-star. Honestly, actually, I think I put this one in at a 2-star. It's a shorter book. It had a lot of like typos, which normally doesn't bother me, but also just what was going on in this story was just not my favorite of hers. The Love Season by Ellen Hildebrand. Probably put that in overhyped. Was good. Just a good solid read. I can't quite remember exactly what happens in that one, but I do remember really enjoying it. Summer People, Ellen Hildebrand again. Overhyped. That one's good. This one, to be fair, I actually don't really remember what goes on in it, but it's an Ellen Hildebrand. So, Barefoot. Liked but didn't love. Enjoyed this one. I think this is one of her like more popular ones, which is understandable. I did really enjoy this one. Would recommend. I would recommend any of her books, to be fair, but it's kind of just, they're just really easy. Light reads, especially for the beach, summertime. Super easy read, but I do think they're more geared towards like more middle-aged women, but I don't think that really matters. I think you can enjoy them any age. Next is The Beach Club by Ellen Hildebrand. This one is overhyped. This one was good. It's an earlier one of her books as well. And I do remember stuff. I remember what happens in it, but not my favorite of hers. City of Ashes. This one, liked but didn't love. That's a part of the Mortal Instruments series. That's the second book. All of these books kind of get very like jumbled in my mind just because I read them like back to back, but I do enjoy the series and I do think that I do recommend them. A Summer Affair, overhyped. I don't like affairs in books. I don't really like cheating in books, and I knew going into it what it was going to be about, obviously with the title, but also that does kind of sway my rating. City of Glass. This one, liked but didn't love. I enjoyed this one the most out of all of the 3 books. I do intend on reading the rest of the Cassandra Clare series. I'm reading them in like chronological order or something like that. So the next part is not continuing the Mortal Instruments series, but it's going to this other series. If I Stay, Forgot I Read. This one, my husband chose out for me, so that's why I read it. This book is more geared towards when I was younger and like younger kids, more like, I think like preteen, teenager. And so it's just not like a favorite of mine. Castaways, liked but didn't love. I really remember that one, and I did really enjoy that one. The Walking Dead Compendium. Didn't want it to end. I really enjoy the Walking Dead series as a whole, and I really need to read the rest of them. I do have the second compendium, and so I do plan on reading that very soon. The Island. I'll put that one in liked but didn't love. I do like that one actually a lot. Recommend. I think that was a good one. Ellen Hildebrand Silver Girl. Why My Memory. This book, my issue with it is there was a lot of build up, and the story was interesting, and I thought there was going to be some like plot twist at the end or something like big that gets revealed, but it kind of just keeps dragging on, and I was kind of at like 100 pages left. I was like, okay, how is this going to wrap up? I don't get it. And then it just kept going the same way. It was just anticlimactic, underwhelming. So, A Man Called Ove, or Ove, not entirely sure how to say it. I think it's Ove. Overhyped. People love this book, and I do think it's a good book. I read it and then watched the movie, and I did read it in like a day. No, I read it in like 3 days, but I don't know if it's like amazing. I don't know if I just don't like Frederick Bachman's writing, but I want to try some more of his other books. And I think there is more that people like more than A Man Called Ove. I think this one's just really popular. Homefront, Kristen Hanna. Liked but didn't love. I really enjoyed this one. Very heart-wrenching, very sad, like most of Kristen Hanna's books. Would definitely recommend this one. I just think there's others of hers that I would like more and have liked more. Chain of Thorns, Cassandra Clare. Love, love, love. This is a third in the, what's it called? The Last Hours series. And this one is so good. I will say, this series can be kind of frustrating because there's miscommunications between the characters, and I don't really enjoy that. But at the end of the day, it was still such a good read, and I would recommend, and I still think about these characters to this day, even though I read this at the beginning of the year. Kristen Hanna, The Nightingale. Literally love this book. Nightingale is so good. I think my only issue with it is the fact that I read it before I read any of her other books, and I think that really just makes all the other books never live up to it. It's so good. I stayed up till 5 in the morning. I was bawling my eyes out. It's just such a good book. I love it. And it's getting made into a movie, and I'm so excited about that. I cannot wait. Baby Teeth, Wipe My Memory. Do not recommend this book. I really wish I could just like not think about it, and that's why I want to wipe my memory of it. There's nothing I hate more than a adult writing through the eyes of a child, but the child is just so obviously not a kid. Like they're just doing things that children just don't need to be doing and shouldn't be doing, and it just really gives me the ick. I can't do it. Educated, this is a memoir. I don't really want to rank memoirs, honestly. I'm just gonna put it at liked but didn't love. I think it's a good book, would recommend, but also it's someone's life story. It's something that happened to someone and what they went through. I'm not going to rate it 1 through 5. You know what I mean? Heartstopper. This series I put in overhyped. I read this series very, very quickly. I haven't read the 5th one still, but I'm gonna grab the 4th one down here somewhere. I do enjoy it. I think it was a good graphic novel. People just like really go crazy for it, and to me personally, I just don't think it's like anything life-changing. I did really, really like it, but I don't know. It almost feels a little bit like childish. Like I think like my little sister would like it more than I would. But it does have some dark themes, and it does deal with like some things very, very well. I still need to watch the show. The X, I'd put that in overhyped. I don't really remember very much about this book, but I love Frida McFadden, and that's kind of the thing about her books, is that you have a great time while reading them. You read them very fast. There's kind of a crazy plot twist, little palate cleanser in between books, and then you kind of just put on your shelf and don't really think about it. Next is, I'm gonna grab all of these. The Inheritance Games series, I would put these in liked but didn't love. I really enjoyed this series, read it super quickly. All of them are kind of just on the same scale of like how much I like them. The series as a whole is probably like 5 stars. And each individual book I think is about like 4-ish stars. So would recommend. Very quick, very fast paced. Want to read the rest of her books. Happily Ever After playlist. This one I would put in liked but didn't love. Honestly, all of Abby Jimenez's books, she's an auto-buy author for me from now on. I've read every single book that she has out except for the last one that just came out just for the summer. And she has a new one coming up in 2025. Love her books, love her writing style, love the way she portrays her characters. Instantly buy her. The Push. Wipe My Memory. Honestly, kind of forgot about it, so it's already happened. My memory's already been wiped, but this one was just like very weird. I remember just not really enjoying it. I did read it fast, but I just remember not enjoying it. I can have my life and live my life without having read this book. Okay, Life's Too Short, Abby Jimenez. Liked but didn't love. Again, same thing, auto-buy author. Mary Jane, probably overhyped. I enjoyed this book. It's like a little coming of age story. I read it for a video, but it wasn't anything like crazy life-changing. I would recommend it, but it is what it is. One Dark Window, liked but didn't love. That series as a whole is just liked but didn't love. There's 2 Twisted Crowns as well. I like this series. I recommend it. My mom's actually reading the first one right now, and I really enjoy the premise of the book. It's a very, very interesting fantasy, but again, it was like a 4-star series. Mr. Wrong Number, probably, overhyped. I love Lynn Painter. I will read like all of her books just because her writing is so easy and I like it so much. I read this book really, really quickly, but also it wasn't my favorite romance ever. Here and There. Forgot I read. No. Well, yeah. I feel like Here and There was okay. It was very interesting. I listened to it mainly on audiobook, and the audiobook I would definitely recommend. It's like a thick, thick book, and the way the audiobook goes about it, because there's like a robot in the story, is really, really good. But it's also just one of those, it's not really talked about, and it makes sense. Rock, Paper, Scissors, didn't want to end. Love Alice Feeney, love her writing. This was a crazy plot twist, and I will forever buy her books. The Maid. Probably overhyped. I think this was a good book. Wasn't crazy. I don't even think it's really overhyped, but more just like it's a 3-star read for me. The character kind of annoyed me, but also I think that was kind of what she was supposed to be like. She's supposed to be kind of just like ditzy and doesn't really know what's going on when it's very obvious for you as the reader. And it was fine. It was an easy read. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Liked but didn't love. This one is, I think, one of like everyone else's favorites of hers. And I really liked it, and I like her writing in general. But I mean, it wasn't 5-star. Serpent and the Wings of the Night, didn't want it to end. Love this book, love this series. I really need to complete it. I'm just procrastinating on it. I love it though. Like, it's so good. I remember just eating it up. Things We Never Got Over, didn't want it to end. Have to finish this series. Love the small town romance. Love the whole, like, the whole town is just so connected. It's like a whole little family, and I just love that. And it's like a 600-page romance that I literally read in like 2 days. That just is crazy. Flawless, definitely overhyped. I am one of those people that's not on the Flawless like hype and like the cowboy romance hype. Did I enjoy it? I did enjoy it a little bit, but also some of the steamy parts were just so cringy, and I'm not one of those people that needs that in my books. So I just skipped the pages. The Outsider by Stephen King. Honestly, by my memory, I don't really care too much about this book. I listened to it on audiobook. It's just not for me. I don't want it. I don't like it. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. Liked but didn't love. Again, her books are just so great. We'll always like them. None of This Is True, Lisa Jewell. Liked but didn't love. I listened to this on audiobook, which I definitely recommend because it takes place like with a podcast. The like author, like not the author, the main characters are on a podcast. Definitely love it. This got me into reading Lisa Jewell books, and I just really enjoy her writing style, and I want to read all of her books. I want to read her whole thing. Daisy Hates, Didn't Want to End. Love this universe, love these books, and enough said. Britney Spears, The Woman in Me. This is again a memoir. I'm going to put it in liked but didn't love. I actually did really enjoy this one, but also it's a memoir. I'm going to put it all on the same level. The Housemaid's Secret. I read The Housemaids like a year or two ago, and I finally got around to finishing the series. Housemaid's Secret, I would put in liked but didn't love. I did actually enjoy. And then Housemaid's Watching, I would probably put in overhyped. I don't think we needed a third book in the series. It was good while it lasted. Iron Flame, didn't want to end. Love this series. Cannot wait for the third one. Honestly, this one, I will say though, like in the beginning of it and kind of like even in the middle, I was like, why are we back here? Why are we in the same place we were in the first book? But it just really picks up, and the ending goes so hard. It goes so crazy and had me bawling my eyes out. Throttled, overhyped. I want to read this series because I want to be able to read this series and then the Dreamland Billionaire series, and then I can read like her new like redesigned or whatever. I just for some reason cannot get myself to just read the Dreamland Billionaire series without reading the Dirty Air series. And I do enjoy it. I do like the characters. I don't know what it is about me, but I'm super picky on my romances, and maybe I'm just really not like a romance girly. Maybe I like more like heartfelt things, but I'm learning and I'm discovering, and I want to read the series. Darling Venom. This one I'd probably put in overhyped. I read this one for a video and it was okay. I don't really remember exactly what happens in the book. I had a fine time reading it. It's like a 3-star. Listen for the Lie. This one, I remember reading this book and really enjoying it, but I don't really remember what happens in it. But I don't want to put it in forgot I read, because like when I look at it and I'm paying attention and like I think about the book, I do remember certain things and I really remember enjoying it. But I think my thing is I read the book so fast that a lot of it like really didn't stay in my brain, which can happen sometimes, especially with thrillers. I read them so quickly, sometimes I just don't think about them. Especially in thrillers, I feel like you don't really get super connected to the characters because it's mainly about like the plot and what's going on, so it doesn't stick in my brain. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Liked but didn't love. This one was really good. I mainly listened to this one on audiobook, but this is the same author, Holly Jackson, who wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I really enjoy that series as a whole as well. Like Mother Like Daughter, I forgot I read this one. I don't really remember what it's about. I know I got it in Book of the Month. I was really excited about it. I read it super easy, super quickly, but I didn't retain like any of the information. Same with How to Sell a Haunted House. I legit don't remember what happens in this book. Like I actually don't. Wait, yes I do. I still am gonna put it in forgot because I had to think really hard. This one is the same author who wrote My Best Friend's Exorcism, and so I wanted to give him a try because I enjoyed that book. But I don't know if I'm gonna read any more of his books. He's just not for me. The God of the Woods, overhyped. I read this before like anyone else was really like hyping it up and getting into it. I got it in Book of the Month and I really liked it. I thought it was good. I don't think it is like my most favorite thriller of all time. The Teacher, Liked But Didn't Love. This is Freida McFadden. I remember really liking this when I was reading it. I remember the twists and the endings and everything, but it's a Freida McFadden. Like, they're just easy, quick reads. Hidden Pictures, Didn't Want It to End. Love this book. He actually just came out with a new book, and I have it. I need to read it, but I don't know. He's just, the way his writing is, and I literally flew through this book. It's so good. Definitely recommend. And the like premise of the book, the whole thing in general, is just such a cool idea. Better than the movies, I'd put Liked But Didn't Love. Actually, no, I put Liked But Didn't Love. This is almost a 5-star. It's a very, very good book, very easy to read. I read it in a night. Love Lynn Painter's writing. I definitely think she does way better YA than she does adult, but just definitely would recommend. Ghosted. Honestly, forgot I read. Honestly, just wipe my memory. I think it's a great book. No, see, I can't even say that and then put it in wipe my memory. It's a fine book. There's nothing really actually wrong with it. I just don't think I needed to read this book. It's just not my favorite. I never think about it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's fine. I read it for a video, and we'll just leave it at that. Catherine Sinner, The Bodyguard. Put that in Liked But Didn't Love. Catherine Sinner's writing in general is just really nice. This was my first like of her like romances that I read, and I really like her books in general. I need to read the rest of them. Dead Romantics, Liked But Didn't Love. I read this because of The 7-Year Slip, actually. Her books and this author, she's an auto-buy author for me. Love her. The way she writes, the way she portrays her characters, everything about her, like everything about her writing is just so, I just eat it up. It's so good. It's so good. So Dead Romantics was not like my favorite of hers, but I definitely it's like a 4-star. It's very, very high up there. I know it like went crazy like a couple years ago, and I just had no interest in reading it until I read 7-Year Slip, and I was like, I have to buy all her books. 7-Year Slip, Didn't Want It to End. Love this book. Was probably one of my favorites of the year. I'm not even gonna lie. I just can't recommend it enough. I don't know what it is about her writing, but it's so addicting. Divine Rivals, I'll put this one in Liked But Didn't Love. Or actually, I'd put this one in Didn't Want It to End. I really, really enjoyed that series, but then Ruthless Vows, I'd probably put it in Liked But Didn't Love. It didn't hit the same as Divine Rivals. It's not on the same level, but it definitely was still good. I still think it was a good way to end the series. I'm glad I read it, but love the series as a whole. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Didn't want this to end. I've never had an author literally write my thoughts and feelings so well and eloquently on paper. Like, it's actually insane what she does as a writer and how she can just articulate these thoughts and these feelings that like I've had, and I know so many people have and go through. It's just actually crazy. Like, I love this book. I want to read it again, and I want to annotate it and just really sit down and like analyze all of the pages. Christina Lauren, Twice in a Blue Moon. This is Liked But Didn't Love. I don't see people talk about this as from a Christina Lauren book, but I really, really enjoyed this one. It went by really fast, super easy read, and I just picked it up randomly, and I would really recommend it. Ellen Hillenbrand, Hotel Nantucket. Liked But Didn't Love. Enjoyed this book. People really like this one of hers, and this is actually what got me into reading her books, and I do think it's like one of my favorites of hers. But all of her books are kind of, I don't know if any of them will ever be a 5-star, or if they ever, like, if they're at that level, but they're really good, easy reads, and I still want to read all her books. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Instantly and Didn't Want It to End. Love this series. I cannot wait to read the third one. I still have to read the second one, but I'm really gonna redo that soon. Love the series. Love Kai. Love the banter. I have a whole reading vlog reading this book, and you can get my live reactions from it. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Liane Moriarty, Apples Never Fall. This one I listened to recently. I'd probably put it in Liked But Didn't Love. Honestly, just overhyped. I don't even think that it's really talked about, but it's definitely just like a 3-star read. I'm not sure how I like her writing yet. I'm going to read a couple more of her other books because I have the physical copies of them and I want to read them. And I know a lot of her stuff gets turned into shows, and I would really like to watch the shows. So, Murder in the Family. This one, Liked But Didn't Love. This book is interesting because the way it's written is it's written like a script. And honestly, I think if I ever recommend this to someone, I will recommend that they listen to it as an audiobook instead of reading it, because reading it was kind of weird because it was written in like dialogue of a script, and you never actually got like full paragraphs of what was happening like a regular book. It was just a very interesting read, and there was like newspaper articles in it and stuff. Would recommend it. I think it was really good. The twist was really good, but I definitely would think it'd be a better audiobook than anything. Night of the Witch. This one I read recently, and it was recommended on TikTok or something. I put this one in Like But Didn't Love. It's a duology. I don't know if it's going to be any more of a series. I really need to read the second one. It was very enjoyable. Would recommend. It's like a little romantasy. Never really read witch books, but I do like it. Every Summer After, Wipe My Memory. I don't really need this to be in my brain. I think I listened to this and I'm pretty sure I skipped like half the book. I was not interested at all. Lisa Jewell, The Family Upstairs. Liked But Didn't Love. I enjoy her writing. I enjoyed this book. It's actually a series. The plot of it is very interesting and the twist was really, really good. Emily Henry, Happy Place. I kind of want to put it in overhyped just because it was really hyped up, but I didn't love it as much as everyone else. But also I want to put it in Liked But Didn't Love because it was like a 4-star read and I did really enjoy myself while reading it. And it's an Emily Henry book and her writing in general is so easy and fast paced and like I would recommend her books to anyone. Powerful. I'll put this in Liked But Didn't Love. It's not on the same level as Powerless and I think I would enjoy it more if I had read it as a tandem read, but it came out after I'd read Powerless. But if I recommend it to people, I would recommend read Powerful and Powerless together just because it's going to just add way more to the story of Powerless. And it's just very heart-wrenching and you don't want to have to cry twice. 1,000 Boy Kisses. I put this in Like But Didn't Love. Honestly, yeah, I do like this book and I do remember everything that happened in it. I was bawling like a baby, but also I think it was like really overhyped. But it's been overhyped, like it was a big book and like people were talking about it all the time like a couple years ago. But she did just come out with a second book to this. I don't think I'm going to read it. I don't think I'm going to finish it. It's about like the sister or something like that. But it was fine. It was good. Next, The Fury. Last one. I would put this in Liked But Didn't Love. I like his books in general. I really enjoy The Silent Patient. I haven't read The Maiden yet. This one was really good. I think this one actually takes place on a Greek island. Really good. Plot just kind of crazy. So this is all of my books I read in 2024. Thank you guys for watching this and coming along with me. I think I had a really good reading year. As you can see, a lot of them were like more 4-star reads, you know, a couple 5 stars in there. I just want to be utilizing my time reading books that I really love, especially in 2025. I don't want to read books if I think I'm not really gonna like them. I don't want to just keep reading a book because I don't want to DNF it. I think, you know, reading is for enjoyment and entertainment, and I don't think I need to waste my time reading a book that I just don't really feel like I'm going to love and want to like talk about all the time. So that's my little rant. I'm excited about 2025. I'm gonna try to read maybe 100 books. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm hopeful and I've already read a lot, so I think I can do it. And I want to bring you guys along with me. Hopefully I can make some more videos and my channel can grow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.